Have you recently been diagnosed with ADHD or autism? Lately, there has been a huge wave of adults being diagnosed later in their life, particularly women. In this video, we are going to talk all about that and what I'm noticing as an Australian-based therapist. Being diagnosed with ADHD or autism as an adult woman can lead to a mixture of feelings, from validation and relief to anger and grief. As a counsellor for INFJs, introverts or empaths, it's not uncommon for me to meet clients who are also neurodivergent. Interesting, right? The process for receiving a diagnosis can be quite a long one, especially within Australia. Often the waiting list to see a psychologist can be quite a long time. By the time you actually get in, take the test, and are diagnosed, you kind of already know what's coming. If anything, it's a validation, a moment of,
yes, at last, I'm being understood.
All those things you've been struggling with your entire life makes sense. What I'm noticing in my counselling sessions is the need for people to then talk about this. During their psychologist appointment, there's not really any space for this. There's no space for reflection and wondering and venting. You're kind of given your diagnosis, maybe a few tips, and a referral to see a psychiatrist to talk about medication, which again is another 6-month wait. Oh man, I need to wait again. As a counsellor, I'm not actually able to diagnose anyone, but it's common for me to have clients walk through my door.
Well, virtual door.
Needing to release and just talk it all over.
Okay, so I have ADHD and everything is just starting to make sense. I was thinking about my childhood and I was thinking about this and
because it's a big moment, a huge moment for a person. For me personally, I see it as a celebration. There's nothing more relieving to understand yourself better, to suddenly have a lens into your childhood and make sense of what's happened for you. There are many aha moments.
Aha! Yes!
And sometimes a person is just not ready to talk about it with their friends or family for whatever reasons. Fear of judgment and misunderstanding, not being believed, it being brushed under the carpet because you don't look autistic, or you just don't want to bother them because you have so much to unpack. With the validation and relief, this can quickly turn into grief. A grief for your little child self. A grief that she was never seen, heard, or understood. A grief for what could have been. How could your life have turned out if you'd been diagnosed earlier? What could you have done? What could you have achieved if strategies and understanding were placed in your life during your teenage years? The grief is normal. It's part of the process. You're not alone in walking through this grief. Part of the grief can then turn to anger. Why is it that Tommy or Jimmy or whatever other boy in your class was so easily diagnosed with ADHD back then? Why was there such a misunderstanding of what it looks like for girls and the internal struggles that you faced? Why was it missed? Why did the teachers not understand and you kept getting into trouble? Why did your parents not see it? Why was there so much pressure to try and fit in and be like the neurotypical people? Why? In my counselling sessions, as well as neuro-affirming therapy, I like to use parts work therapy too. It's important that we nurture and comfort our inner child. It's important that we hear from them. They were never heard back then, but they can be heard now. It's important that we work with our inner child to help bring healing, to help them be seen, to help bring relief and peace, and to feel the feelings that have been buried for so long. There can also be a lot of questions. Questions about, now what from here? Who am I? Is my personality based on me? Or is it the ADHD traits? What can my life look like? What will my life look like going forward? Knowing I have ADHD or am autistic, what will my relationships look like? Do I need to keep masking? What strategies can I use to help me? How can I celebrate myself? How can I accept myself for who I am? I believe it's important that you come to a place of self-acceptance and self-love. You are not a problem to be fixed. You are beautiful and unique. You have strengths and abilities that neurotypical people don't have. Let's celebrate you. Let's discover who you are. Let's not try to change you to fit in, but let's find a way where you can thrive being fully yourself. If you would like support while you walk this road, you know where to find me. The link to book an appointment is in my description. Also, if you're a parent, you're probably facing your own unique struggles. Parenting itself can be hard, but parenting when you are neurodivergent, an INFJ, or an introvert can quickly lead to parenting burnout. Have a watch of this video. It's targeted for INFJs, but I actually think that neurodivergent people will get something out of it too.